Thank you very much for traveling so very far to come here. We really appreciate it. I hope you've settled into your accommodation, that there are not too many lamps in the bed and not too many icicles hanging from the ceilings and things like that. The seats in this lecture hall are hard, but the other lecture halls have what I define as the seats from hell, because they tilt and they squash you against the table with pencil falls on the other side. So we have to do with this old-fashioned lecture hall where everything will take place. The coffee and tea breaks, important for all of the discussions, will take place down the hall and upstairs in one of our first-year teaching labs. And that's where, at about 5, we'll also have our reception. And you'll get to taste Stellenbosch University's own produced wine. Now, some people generally read up about South African wines, although it's not like this, we should be speaking about physics. That there's a South African variety of grape called Pinotage. We specifically ordered it for you. Most of us don't like that much, but there you've got to taste it too, as part of the red wines called Pinotage. Welcome. Hopefully we'll be doing lots of very interesting physics over the next 2 weeks. They're interesting things. Our whole conference moves 45 kilometers that way to False Bay, to about 150 meters from the beach, okay, where it's a bit warmer than in Stellenbosch, to Ames on Thursday and Friday next week. Buses will take us there. But we continue with our academic sessions, but are joined by a group of students who study at the African Institute for Mathematical Sciences, who are from all over Africa. In any case, we have people from all over Africa. Let me just introduce you to some of the persons at Stellenbosch, whom, if you have any queries, will be able to point you to where there's food, to where there are banks, to where you can find a pharmacy or whatever. So just starting over here, this is Chris, who's a postdoc in the physics department. He works on knots in polymers, or used to work on that. That's Janusz, doing a master's degree in the physics department. He's working on molecular machines. Over there we have Sembiso, who we've met, and he's working on membranes and networks. Let's see. There we have Arash, who is working on polymers in confined geometries, also pointing to postdoctoral researcher over here. Oh, Dirk knows how to point lasers at things and looks at remodeling laser beams, if I'm correct. Yes. So we've had various South Africans and Iranian. From Cameroon, there's Stanard. Okay, she's working on polymer networks. Next to her is Mathiasi, who's from Lesotho. Now, Lesotho is a small little country. If you look on the map, it's in the middle of South Africa. It looks quite small, but if you were to flatten all of its crumpliness out, it's probably quite as large as South Africa, because it's highly fractal. And it's a lot colder and snowy there at this time. He's completing his PhD. So he's working on dynamics in single file systems. We have Conrad, who's a lecturer in Cameroon. He's working here as a researcher in Stellenbosch, and he's working on membranes, but he's also an expert on non-linear dynamics
of
in
DNA and biomolecules in general.
Okay. So, but if you have any questions about Stellenbosch or so on, they'll be able to help you with various things. And if you don't know where to go in the physics department, just follow them. If you don't know where to go, restrooms, laboratories, conveniences, toilets, whatever you call them, are down the passage. There are large ones next to our main lecture hall. Let's go towards the left, and downstairs on the left are the gentlemen's toilets, on the right the ladies' toilets. There are also ones more conveniently located, which are left in the lecture hall, up the steps, and you'll find them at the top of the stairs. Otherwise, just hunt in the passages. Fine. So that's sort of some of the logistics. We'll be informing you a little bit more, organizing some tours about some of the work in the physics department. We have a rather, well, in terms of European and American physics departments, perhaps a small department with 14 or 15 permanent academic staff, working mainly on nuclear physics, various applications and of laser physics. There's a femtosecond lab, but also labs that are specialized in spectroscopy, etc. And there is some theoretical physics, mainly focusing on condensed matter physics, but also on particle physics, and usually with field theory as some kind of common thread in the theoretical physics. The physics department is 110 years old, I think. Defined from the time when the first professor in physics was appointed at the then Victoria College, from which Stellenbosch University emerged, on the same day as Cape Town University. You might have heard that we reacted slightly allergically to the fact that this was called ICAM Cape Town. This is Stellenbosch. And there were some images of our arch enemy, the University of Cape Town, on the web page. But there were also some images from Stellenbosch. So the two universities are the oldest in South Africa, two of the bigger research universities in the country, founded on the same day by an act of parliament, but emerging through various historical reasons. Stellenbosch is a kind of theological seminary for the Dutch Reformed Church in the 19th century. Okay, so a little bit of background. Is that more or less what you wanted me to say? Okay. Stellenbosch itself was founded by the Dutch East India Company, which needed a replenishment station with the ships heading towards India. And so it was the second inland settlement after Cape Town, founded by the Dutch East India Company. There were, of course, other settlements before that. And it's named, presumably, after the second governor of the Dutch East India Company, called Simon van der Stel. His wife's surname was Bosch, so probably it's Stel and Bosch. If you go and look in an old English dictionary, there is a 19th century military term in the British Army, which is the verb to stellenbosch somebody. So any soldiers who got drunk or misbehaved generally in Cape Town were banished to Stellenbosch, which was essentially boring and some kind of terrible punishment. That you won't feel Stellenbosch over here. There are lots of things to do. It is the break between our two semesters, so the town is considerably quieter than usual as a university town. Hopefully you'll still find many things to do in the hours, and certainly there's a soccer World Cup going on, and perhaps some things to speculate about there. Welcome. Thank you for coming. Ivan.